Hi, welcome back to Talk Connected Podcast. My name is Virginia Murray. I'm a licensed professional counselor. And what is Talk Connected? Talk Connected is a space where the community can just come together, talk about real life challenges, issues, and the struggles of mental and emotional health that affect our well being. We are here to hopefully educate, inspire, and just empower you as individuals, you as groups, you as the multitudes of people. Feel free to check in on our playlist. We have lots of episodes that can resonate with many different people and where you're at in life. So let's get started. One of the things that I always like to get started with is a check in. How's your mental health today? How are you feeling today? Are you carrying symptoms of anxiety? Are you feeling sad and down? We are entering into the colder months and colder seasons. Do you get seasonal depression? Have you been checking in on yourself just to see where you're at, right? And what is a check-in? A check-in is exactly what was just stated. You ask yourself how you're feeling, and you see if there's anything that you can give yourself to help you navigate that space that you're in, to help you decompress if you're feeling a little stressed or anxious or worried about something. What can you give yourself to help you in the present moment navigate your mental health or emotional well-being, right? And check-ins are temporary. I want you to check in with yourself every day, but check-ins are temporary. Eventually, you're going to have to find, long-term support to navigate the challenges that we go through. But checking in on yourself is a helpful tool daily to use because it lets you know where you're presently at, and it gives you a little guidance on how to decompress or take the intensity from here just to about here, de-intensify what you're feeling. So if you need to pause the podcast to take a moment to check in on yourself and ask yourself what you need, please do so. Outside of that, we are going to jump into today's episode. Today's episode, the title of it is Readiness, right? In life, I feel like a lot of people struggle with, and I've talked to a lot of people that struggle with readiness. Why do we struggle with readiness, and what is readiness? We struggle with readiness in our lives because we go through negative experiences in our past, in our present, that really have an effect on who we believe we are, our self-identity, our ability to self-advocate for ourselves, our ability to say, okay, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to get started, and this is how I want to navigate that journey. So, readiness, what is it? It's kind of like, for a lot of people, this feeling. Have you ever just felt something on the inside of you where you just said, you know what? I really feel like I'm ready to take my next steps. I'm ready to enter into the next season of my life. Sometimes it's just this indescribable feeling that you have, right? And there are certain things in our lives that make us feel not ready for a lot of things. And we talked about negative experiences from our past or our present. I really want to talk to you about certain experiences that can hinder us or cause a barrier in our lives from being ready to pursue what we are called into in our lives. It's from going from that old version or our present version of ourselves to the new version of ourselves where there is so much more and so much better for our lives, where we get to walk inside of who we are becoming, not just staying stuck or stagnant in who we are today. Because how many of us know that there's growth through life? There's acceleration in life. There's the potential for us not to be bound or stagnant in the spaces that we're in, right? So I'll share a little bit about my story. And I never have shared this part of my life with the public before, but I will be open and honest about my life today. So, in my life, I was in a 10-year domestically violent relationship, and I almost lost my life a couple of times. And I thank God that I am here today, because without Him on my side and giving me the grace that He had given me in that situation, I don't think I would have been here today. Whatever was meant for the worst, God really took it and turned it around and made it for His good and the good of my life moving forward. Because of that experience that I went through, I felt trapped. I felt limited. I felt scared. I felt stagnant. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And this was all after I exited out of that relationship, right? Just because you can get out of a situation, it doesn't mean that mentally you are free. Physically, it doesn't mean that you are free either, because our body just kind of, it still feels tense. It still holds on to those negative experiences. And there is a journey of healing that you have to go through. And I'm so glad that I went through that journey of healing after I got out of that situation, because we get out of situations and some people never know how to heal from them. Some people don't know where to start. Some people know that they want to heal, but do you have a readiness to heal? A readiness is when you say no more. And I got to the point in my life where I said, no more. I refuse to be trapped in a mental or physical cell in my life. Right. And when I say that, it's almost just like, imagine you sitting inside of a mental, emotional jail cell in your life. You got the keys, you're the warden, you are the prisoner, you are the security, like you are playing all these different roles, but you have the keys in your hand and you have the ability to free yourself, and the door is open and you have the ability to walk out of the cell, but you're still sitting in the cell, because after I walk out, what's next and where do I go? Do I have a readiness to get up and walk out of that cell? Do I have the readiness to walk into freedom? What does freedom even look like when you have been trapped for so long? That was my question. What does freedom look like for me when I have been trapped for so long? I didn't know. I had to go through my own healing journey and my own form of readiness in order to figure out, that my life was limitless, that I would be okay. For years after the abuse that I went through, years, there were things that was coming to my mind over and over again. It was this prison that we talk about. For years, I looked over my shoulder. Years. But eventually I found my healing, and I'll never forget one incident that really stands out to me is I was going through my program to get to where I am now. And oftentimes I tell people, I have no idea how I got into the position that I'm in. I have no idea how I became a professional counselor. I'm just here. But I do say that it's through the grace and the intentionality of God, right? Because I hold on to my faith very close, very close. And I remember this one time I was going through the program years and years ago of schooling, and there was another professor inside of the field, and she looked at me and she said, after everything that you shared with me about what you have gone through in your life, how do you even have the capacity? How do you even have the ability to do what you're doing, to be of service for other people? How did you get to a point where you are so healed, where what you have been through It's not a reflection of when I look at you, who I see. And it made me question some things in myself. I didn't understand at that moment what she meant. I didn't understand until I started navigating the continued healing, the continued readiness and path that was set forth before me to walk into everything that I needed to come. And now I can say proudly on this podcast, on this episode, to all of you viewers, I am free, signed, healed, and delivered from what once captivated me. And I just feel so strongly that I have a purpose to help other people get there. And that's why what I do in my life as a professional counselor, what I'm doing on this podcast, I'm so passionate about. I'm so invested from my heart, like from the depths of my heart, to help people along their journeys. And you don't have to have gone through domestic violence. You don't have to have gone through trauma of any sort. My journey and my experience with something challenging in life and something hard just has helped to prepare and equip me to help other people prepare and equip themselves for the different types of challenges that they go through in their own lives. And I've been so blessed not to let my own experience have a bias towards, even if someone's going through the same thing. And what I mean by that is I can look at them and say, we may have gone through the same thing, but you may need something different. Not being so blinded in their readiness to say, well, try everything that I've tried, right? No, everybody's different and everyone's unique to their experiences in life. So you do have to meet them where they are and help them navigate what they need in order to get through what they are going through. I'm so happy that anyone that is on here that has ever gone through a challenge in their lives, I'm so happy that you're tuned in and watching this and you didn't give up on life. I'm so happy that you have either made it or you are trying your best to make it through any circumstance that makes you feel like a captive in your own mind, heart, body, soul, life. I'm so happy that you are not giving up on yourself because your past situations do not define you. And it is my hope that all my viewers out there, if you have gone through something or if you are going through something, it is my hope that you find a readiness and a starting point to start your journey of healing to overcome everything that you have gone through. And then at the end of that journey, I wish nothing more but to hear all of you say, I am healed, signed, sealed, and delivered. I don't have the problems that I used to have, but I have an abundance of joy in my life. I have an abundance of peace in my life. I have an abundance of hope in my life. I hope that you find the thing that you can cling on to that's going to motivate you to keep going on with your life and your journey. Because let me tell you this, your life and your journey is so valuable to the new version of you that you are walking into and that you are becoming. Don't you know that you were specially made? I just want you to know that you were specially made. You were specially made to allow a light inside of you to shine, to be a reflection of who it is that you need to be to draw other people unto you. See, and the one thing that I value the most in the position that I'm in and what I do, what I value the most is what I pour into other people. Don't gatekeep it. Pour it into somebody else. Take the tools that you have been equipped with and help somebody else. And the beautiful thing about that is you don't have to be a professional counselor. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to have any specialized training to help someone and support someone go through the challenges that they are going through. You don't have to have specialized skills to encourage someone. Now, there are certain things that professional counselors do, right? There are certain things that we are trained in to navigate in a certain way, but there are certain skills you don't need to be able to pour into someone and to encourage someone that you see going through the journey that they're going through. Now, that doesn't mean pick up their issues and problems, right? That's where you go to a specialized person. That's where you'll see a counselor at, or a psychiatrist, a psychologist, whoever it is you need to connect with in a specialized field. Like when you pour encouragement into someone else, you can also lead them and guide them and say like, hey, I think, seeing a therapist may help you with your journey, but please take this encouragement. Allow me to pour this inside of you. Right? Because we talked about in previous episodes, when we are being a support to those around us, it is not meant for us to pick up and carry their issues, but just to be an overflow of support and encouragement, to pour into them as they are independently navigating their journey and getting the correct help wherever they need to seek the correct help at. Right? But I just want to encourage everyone out there. What you are going through is not the end all be all for you. What you have gone through does not have to keep you prisoner. There is a freedom and a joy that awaits you. And I want all of you to experience that. All of you. And sometimes we cannot see past what we are going through. Oftentimes, when I run into people who are telling me about the issues and problems that they're going through, and they're like, well, everybody's telling me it's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. It gets better. Yes, I know that. But right now I'm trying to navigate the darkness of the tunnel that I'm going through. Right? And you need a flashlight, you need materials that you're going through that tunnel. Who can help equip me with what I need to navigate this darkness as I am getting to the light at the end of the tunnel, or I'm getting to my better? That all comes with a readiness to start your journey of healing. Are you ready to become the new version of you that you need to? Are you ready to step into new territory and take everything that is yours and everything that you are supposed to accomplish and everything that you are supposed to be? What does readiness mean to you? Readiness is so different for everyone. Everyone does not have the same definition or feeling of readiness. And readiness can hit at any moment, right? So I just wanted to get on here and I just wanted to talk a little bit about readiness and encouragement and, just helping people to find a place of support. If you don't have family, if you don't have friends, if you don't have a social circle, if you feel like you're all alone, please reach out and find support through local places, find a hobby, find a social circle that fits your need, find a church that is appropriate for you, find a therapist, find someone to talk to. We don't want to also cross boundaries with our family and friends and pour everything out and vent to them what's going on in our lives. There's nothing wrong with talking to our friends and family about what's going on in our lives, but when they enter into a space of trying to be our therapists and help us and give us advice and guide us, and that didn't work, well, let's try this and let's try that, and that didn't work, then they step out of the role that they need to be in your life, right? We want them to continue to be our friends, our loved ones, our family, and play that role and that part in our lives. And we want to leave the other navigation parts for people who can help us navigate those parts. So please, if you are going through something, find a support system, find a support place. You do not have to go through it alone. We are not meant to journey this earth and our lives alone. It doesn't feel good to be lonely or alone, you know? So, how can we prepare and equip ourselves to be ready? How can we? Because we do need to prepare and equip ourselves, right? Here comes another analogy. You guys know I love my analogies. You know I love my imageries, right? So here comes another one. When we are students in school, we have many assignments that the teacher gives us. So we get assignments, and let's just say you are passing all these assignments, all B's, all A's, you're doing beautifully at them. Because whatever I learned in this unit, I'm now applying my skills through the assignments or the homework that I'm giving, and I'm doing beautifully. But how many of us know that we can get all A's and B's on all the assignments that we went, but when that exam comes at the end of the year, if we don't pass that exam, which is a large portion of the grade and passing, if we don't pass that exam, sometimes we cannot enter into the next grade. If a doctor is doing great all in school, or a potential doctor doing great all in school, all A's, all B's, high GPA, there's a certain exam that they must pass in order to walk into the profession and get their credentials and to actually be called a doctor and to work in that field. A lawyer, get all A's, all B's in school, but if you don't pass the bar, you're not going into the next phase of your career to actually practicing law. So what I'm getting at here is there's a certain healing process in our readiness, right? We got to heal to become ready for something. We got to heal to become ready for something. Therapy and the therapeutic process is about getting a person so healed to a point when you're ready to terminate. You have this readiness of going out there and applying all your skills of what you have learned to be, right? And you can leave at any time. You can leave therapy at any time, and you can think that you're done, and you can think that you're ready, and your therapist will either say, yes, I agree, let's talk about termination, because now you're ready to be the new version of you and apply on those skills. Or you can think that you're ready, and then your therapist say, hey, I really think there's some more things that we need to work on. And then we get out there and we don't necessarily apply the skills that we need to, and sometimes we fall. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases, right? In a lot of cases, we have to be ready to enter into the new version of us. We have to be ready to pass that test, so to speak. We have to be healed. We have to go through a healing process. That's what readiness is. Readiness is equipping ourselves with change. We cannot walk into a new version of us or our lives or a new season of our lives still being the same person that we felt captive and prisoner to before, still feeling like we're the same stagnant and limited person. It's not going to work. There's a certain freedom and healing that we must have to walk into change in our lives. Certain healing and change. That's what readiness is, equipping and preparing ourselves in the way that we need to journey the new version of ourselves. And readiness is just the start, right? Readiness is just the start, because now I'm ready. It's just like that thing, ready, ready, marks, get set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. When you listen to it, ready, set, go. So there's a healing stage of preparing and equipping myself to get ready. Then I set myself into position, and then I can go. I'm going to say that one more time, right? Because that even hit me, y'all. That hit me real good. Ready, set, go. There is a certain healing that you have to go through to prepare and equip yourself to be ready. Once you are ready, you set yourself into position in order to go into the next season, phase, journey of your life. But this time, because you have equipped yourself, prepared yourself, and healed yourself, you are not going to go through whatever you're going through the way that you used to go through things. This is a new you, not the old you. So a lot of the times when I hear people say, well, if I do this again, I'm going to fail. If I do it again, I'm going to fail just like I did before. Well, are you the same person that you were before? Or did you go through an effective change in your life that you're not going to have the same outcome as you did before? And sometimes when we talk about the mind as a powerful thing, the mind will harp on negative experiences over and over and over and over again. And it will tell us, even though we're entering into something new in our lives, you've done this before, you've had this challenge before, you've tried this before, you're going to fail. But we have to tell ourselves in our mind, absolutely not. I'm not who I was when I did it before. I am not the same version of me. I'm not the same person. I have grown. I have healed. I have joy. I have peace in my life. I know how to navigate this challenge better than what I've ever done it before. So what I'm saying is, even after you're ready, set, and going into your life in a new season, in a new way, as a new version of you, even though you are prepared and equipped, that does not mean that you're not going to have challenges moving forward. It just means that you are effective enough to navigate those challenges even more. I use myself as an example. I talked about in the beginning that I went through a 10-year domestically violent relationship. Okay? When I went through that negative experience, I told myself, no more. I know the keys and the signs to look for that are what we call today red flags, right? Red flags. So I know how to say no to certain things to not put myself back into that situation again. But I have to have gone through my healing and change to effectively be able to identify, to effectively be able to say no more, to effectively be able to say, I got it this time. I got it this time around. Does that mean we will never make a mistake? No, we are human. But we give ourselves grace and love for unintentional mistakes, and we keep going. No matter the mistake that you make in life, even in your healed version of you, guess what? Your healed version of you is not your end-all be-all. There's more growth. There's more healing in different areas of your life because you will go through more challenges and experiences in life as long as you continue to live. There will be more growth. There will be more healing. There will be more challenges. There will be more things to get through. But for every challenge that you have, you are equipped with more and more and more things, and you can easily navigate them better than each and every time before. You just have to believe that you can overcome these things. Believe in your heart. Believe in your mind. If you can't see it, believe it anyway. Believe it anyway, right? For me, that was faith. For me, that was faith. Being able to believe things even though that I could not see them in my journey of healing. And everybody's journey of healing is different. Being able to know that I can overcome this, right? Without having to see the outcome. That was my faith that I held on to. And I was ready. And I positioned and set myself. And I went. I just had to go. Because there's a certain feeling that you feel inside of yourself, like we said earlier, where it's like, no more of this. It's almost like a light switch turns on. Right? So I encourage you to reflect in yourself. What am I ready for? when it comes to the next thing in my life? What does readiness feel like for me? Am I able to push fear aside and say, fear, you have got to get out of my way? Because I can no longer live under the influence of fear. I no longer want to live my life in this way. What does readiness look like for you? And are you ready to take the first step to live in a new version of you, a new season of your life? Have growth and elevation in your life? I just want to encourage everyone here today. Keep going. Through your perseverance, through your acknowledgement, through each and every step that you take, you can overcome what you are going through. Even if it doesn't feel like it right now, right? You will overcome everything that you are going through. So take care of yourselves. Remember to check in on yourselves. Remember to give yourself grace and love. Remember to find support. But most of all, remember that you can also not only encourage other people, but you can pour encouragement into yourself, because nobody knows you like you. Nobody's going to love you like you. There is just a certain love that we get from other people that we feel, and it feels amazing. But there's just a certain love when we step into loving ourselves. It's a certain love and feeling that just feels personal and intentional. So remember to build up love within yourself. Take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you next time.